We'll then move on to the next question on the order paper, which is in the name of Assembly Member Jones on the Mayor's climate sceptic views.
Jenny's waving at me in some deeply alarming way. I don't know. Yes, Jenny, thank you. Well, of course, there is no inconsistency here, whatever. I was ruminating in my articles on the variety of climates that we've experienced in the last 5 years or so since I've been mayor. We've had some very cold winters indeed, and musing in an affectionate way about the prophecies that were made by various meteorologists and what have you, that we'd never see snow again, and so on and so forth. That in no way invalidates or there's no discrepancy between that and the excellent work that the GLA is leading on reducing CO2, which has come down. I mean, absolutely amazing statistic. CO2 has come down since the year 2000. I think I'm going to say CO2 in London, in spite of massive economic growth, massive population growth, CO2 emissions have come down by almost 14% in this city.
The thing is,
we are continuing with a huge programme of retrofitting our homes, of improving our vehicles, and making the city ever cleaner and greener.
In your articles, you do, I think, confuse weather and climate change, which we can go into at another time. But Met Office records show that last winter, as most winters since 2000 were actually warmer than average. Let me go back to your climate sceptic views, because you rely a lot on a weatherman called Dr. Piers Corbyn. And I understand he's never been published in any scientific journal that does peer reviews. And one of yours, John Gummer, has said, former Conservative Environment Secretary, he said, no reasonable person would ignore expert opinion and wager his children's future on the contrarian views of people who are not peer-reviewed. In science, peer review is terribly important. And you're relying for your views on somebody who isn't peer-reviewed.
Well,
and he's a weatherman.
I was interested in some of the things. I didn't know that. I'm interested in what you say about Piers Corbyn, who's after all the brother of staunch Labour MP Jeremy Corbyn. He's got an interesting take on the weather we've been experiencing, which I thought was worthy of note, because actually I do remember 20 years ago, when this whole thing kicked off, we were told that there was this thing called global warming, and there still is, and that is, that is the fundamental problem, and the greenhouse gas, the greenhouse effect is leading, and anthropogenic greenhouse gases are, I'm sure, leading to greater propensity for the planet to warm. However, the interesting thing is that may also be coinciding, and this is I think scientifically possible, with a solar minimum of the kind that the planet has experienced before.
You must understand that the overwhelming scientific consensus is that climate change is happening, and quite honestly, well, if you do have climate sceptic views, I don't. Oh, you don't?
Come on, no, of course not.
What's all this stuff in your Telegraph article? You're just making it up, aren't you?
Let the Mayor answer that, because the Green Group now time.
I just want to, just for the avoidance of doubt, I think it is certainly overwhelmingly likely, as scientific opinion holds, that there is anthropogenic climate change caused by CO2 emissions of CO2 and other greenhouse gases that is producing.
We'll note that as a Green Group
but there is a further and interesting possibility, which is raised by Piers Corbyn and others, which is that if you look at what happened in the Maunder minimum and other minima, there are periods that we go through when a reduction in solar activity leads to falls in global temperature, and Piers Corbyn's argument
we'll leave
has
it there.
been that is what is going on now.
No, Jenny, you're out of time.
It seems to me, given the very cold winters that we've experienced over the last
they're warmer.
5 years.
The Met Office says they're warmer.
Well,
we are out of time. We'll move on to the
winter of 2010. Hang on, we can't let her. The winter of 2010 was the coldest in a century. Do you dispute that?
No. We'll move on. No other members.
The winter of 2010 was the coldest in a century.
Right. No other members of which they want to indicate. So we'll move on to the next question on the order paper.
That was an interesting. I thought.
It doesn't matter how interesting it is. The Green Group are out of time, and we can discuss it no more.
Shame.
Rising energy prices. The next question in the name of Assembly Member Qureshi.
Thank you very much, Murad. And